All right, good evening. Skope TV, Thursday night, January 12th. We have got Will Dailey on the phone. Will, what's happening?
How you doing, Mike?
Good to hear from you. Where we talking from today?
I am in Brookline, Massachusetts.
Ah, back home.
Yes, indeed. Home where it's safe and cold.
That's for sure. What's brought you back home?
Well, just kind of family and roots. I was out in LA for a while, and I got all the contacts I really needed out there. Got my record deal rolling, management, and really just to kind of function from the ground level up. Personally, I like being in Boston.
That's cool. So, how's your day going? What'd you have going on today?
Today I was tracking demos all day. Basically, I'm sure we'll get into it, what I'm doing this year as far as releasing music. I'm constantly demoing stuff and just getting it down and all that. So I got my own home rig, a pretty bad rig, just great monitors, but doing everything on my computer, a couple mics at home in my bedroom.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, just for these Skope readers at home watching this, and listening in, Skope has been familiar with Will Dailey for years, and that actually goes into my next question. Will, do you still talk with the bandmates from Mapari?
One of the guys still plays with me on occasion. One of the guys plays drums for the Bravery, and one of the guys kind of fell off the map. But Anthony that plays drums. He used to play drums from Mapari. I still talk to him, and Chris Driscoll plays in the Rivals. Usually when we're in Boston or New York or whatnot.
Very cool. Now your voice it's contagious, it's inviting. At what age did you realize that you had that gift, and when did you begin to really sit down and write some music?
I think I started writing before I realized I was able to sing.
Okay.
I started playing guitar in bands, and then I would start breaking out singing a little bit here and there, but my voice was kind of low for at that time what was coming out, and it wasn't until voices like Eddie Vedder's or even Dave Matthews came around and they were singing lower, in a baritone range, or when they're wailing, they're really just pushing the limits. And when I heard those kind of voices, I was like, oh, all right, I can, you can hear yourself for a second. It's like, all right, you don't need to sing like Axl Rose or Robert Plant. When people think of rock singers or even folk singers, think of Robert Plant, whether it be When the Levee Breaks or Rock and Roll, or even Going to California, which is a beautiful folk song by Zeppelin. That guy's wailing the whole time, and I had a hard time kind of finding myself in that, even though I loved him. So it took a while to kind of find my spot, and I even feel to this day, you're always looking for your voice more and more. And I never feel quite content with the way I sing or write, so I just keep trying to do it better.
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Let's get into the CBS Records, which is just incredible. I remember getting that press release, and just the whole Skope office was just so happy for you. Just watching you come up and then getting that press release, it was really great. And you were one of the first signees to CBS Records. How's that been, and are you happy that you made that move?
Well, thank you, first of all. And it was fascinating in the first place. It was one of those choices with my management at the time where we sat down and thought, is this the right thing to do? This is a new paradigm. As we all know, not only our economy, but, prior to our economy being a tank, the record industry was hurting, kind of had the savings and loan crisis before we're having it now.
Right.
I mean, having this financial crisis before the country started having it. And so there's these things on the table. Do you want to try to shoot for a traditional deal with one of these big labels that you already know, like an Interscope? Or do you want to take this thing, which is brand new, and just see what happens? And it just, at that moment, it seemed like the right thing to do, and try something different. If the ship is sinking, don't stay in the ship. Get off and try to find a raft that's trying to do something different. And CBS kind of had that from the get-go. In the beginning, it was a little weird. I was a little bit of a guinea pig there in the incubation stages while they're figuring it out. But now, with this my first real release with them. Everything's running real smooth, and it's very much a family-oriented label, and there's only 3 people who work there.
Wow. It's just so impressive. What access and resources would you say that you gained when you signed to CBS Records that you didn't have before the deal?
Oh, well, one of the biggest assets is, well, there's 2. Well, the first one I found out is when I call a guitar company whose guitar I really want to get, but I can't afford, and I say I'm on CBS Records, all of a sudden I get a discount. You know, and then I used to sell my guitars to pay rent, and when I needed them the most, they weren't available. But now I don't need that guitar as much, and it's cheaper. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's one of the coolest things. But also, I mean, with CBS, it's not so much an automatic that you'll get on their shows, but what does happen is, you know, on March 5th, I'm playing Hotel Cafe, and CBS Records will try to invite the producers and the music supervisors down to the show, and you still got to make them like you. They still got to dig the music. They still got to think one of your songs fits perfectly with the story they wrote. But it does at least, you at least know they'll be in the room, and they'll be listening. So you just got to knock their socks off, so to speak.
You had your song on CSI, correct?
Yeah, I was on CSI, yeah.
Oh, you were on?
Yeah.
Oh, well, please, tell us a little bit about that. That's awesome.
Well, I was doing a show in LA, just like I said, and this guy comes up to me afterwards, and I didn't know him from anything. And as you know in this business, people come up to you and promise you all kinds of stuff. And this guy, you know, at the end of my set, at the end of the night, he's like, I'm going to put you on my show, yada yada. I really see this scene with you in my show. My show's CSI. I'm really going to, I'm going to make this happen. And I'm saying, thank you very much. That sounds great. Thinking, you know, people promise you all kinds of stuff. This guy's probably never going to call. 2 days later, I got a call from Anthony Zeiger, who was then the producer of CSI New York, saying, I'm flying to New York, putting you in my show with Gary Sinise, and I'm going to have you playing on stage. And Gary Sinise plays bass, and he's going to be playing on stage with you.
Gary Sinise, Lieutenant Dan, am I right?
The Lieutenant Dan, yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow, that must have been amazing.
It was pretty wild. There's like that scene, you know that scene in South Park, the movie, where the puppets are saying, do your acting, Gary, do your acting.
Yeah.
It was like I'm in the scene, and it's really weird because I'm in a fictional show playing myself. I'm in the scene, and then I'm chatting with Gary Sinise, and then the first take comes, and it's like he did his acting. He literally turned on in 2 seconds this really serious guy who's depressed, like, and he is in the show or something.
Right.
And it's like, someone just acted in front of me. It was the weirdest thing.
That's
and
unbelievable.
Lieutenant Dan acted right in front of me. To me.
That's crazy. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, everyone. Do not go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Will Dailey.